Welcome guys sa fifth module ng ating discussion sa subject natin, Assessment of Learning 1. For today's video, I'll talk about the teacher-made test, meaning, features, and uses. This is the first part. The second part is about the principles of a high-quality assessment. So I'll discuss it later. But let's focus first about the teacher-made test. Now, let's take a look. What does it mean? A carefully constructed teacher-made test and standardized test are similar in many ways. Both are constructed on the basis of carefully planned table of specifications. Both have the same type of test items and both provide clear directions to the students. Kasi gano'n naman talaga pag gumagawa ng exam, diba? Be it a teacher-made test or be it a standardized test, meron talaga silang sinusunod na table of specifications that will give them what will be the focus or kung saan sila kukuha ng mas maraming items sa topic na diniscuss. At kung, para ma-identify din, di ba, kung ang teacher ay nag-focus dito sa subject na to for couple of hours, so dun dapat mas maraming kukunin na items. Hanggat maaari, iwasan po natin yung tipong magpapa-exam tayo sa mga bata, tapos kumukuha pa tayo ng maraming points dun sa mga topic na hindi naman talaga natin masyadong na-discuss sa kanila. Kasi how will the test na ginawa natin will measure if they really learn something, diba? But for standard and standardized test and teacher-made test naman, ay meron din silang malaking pagkakaiba, although they are having the same purpose to help na para ma-improve yung teaching and learning process. But for the standardized or for both, they actually still differ in many ways. Kasi lalong-lalo na sa quality of test items, 'di ba? Kasi pag sa standardized, mahaba yung process to make sure na ma-validate talaga. Yun yung sinasabing standardized test. Tapos the reliability test measures, meron ding mga processes for administering and scoring. Tapos may interpretation pa in terms of pag-standardized test. And it may costly kasi grabe, binabayaran talaga and we know how hard it is talaga to make a test standardized. And then, in order to fulfill the immediate requirements naman, the teacher has to prepare his own tests, which are actually usually objective type in nature. So, ito yung teacher-made test. Hindi naman sa lahat ng pagkakataon, diba, pag ikaw yung teacher, ay lagi kang gumagamit ng standardized na test. Kasi, it takes so much time pag-validate, kukuha pa ng statistician or whatsoever na to make sure na valid yung exam or reliable siya. But for teacher-made test, most of the time talaga, ang mabilisan lang siya. Although mabilisan, but we'll study para masigurado natin na tama pa rin yung pinagagawa natin para sa mga estudyante natin. And teacher-made tests naman are normally prepared and administered for testing classroom achievements lang siya. Within the classroom, after magturo yung teacher ng isang specific subject, and it is designed to solve the problem or requirement of the class which is prepared. So, may pagkakaiba talaga yung dalawang to. Now, let's talk or focus sa teacher-made test. Have here the features. Ano bang features na meron dapat ang isang teacher-made test once we prepare one someday kung maging teacher na din kayo. The first one is the items of the test are arranged in order of difficulty. Ngayon, once we study this features, guys, isipin nyo yung mga exams na take nyo or yung mga test na binigay ng mga teacher sa inyo. The first one is yung arrange in order of difficulty. Kung napapansin nyo or na-realize nyo na lagi yan pag-exam, nauuna yung multiple choice or identification, yung madadali muna. Tapos, tsaka na yung essay, evaluation, or analysis dun sa dulo kasi yun yung mahirap talaga. Ba't kaya kailangan ng ganito na laging may order of difficulty or laging nauuna yung mas madali? let us all remember guys na kung maging teacher na kayo, di ba as a student nowadays na alam mo yung feeling pag nagsasagot talaga ng examination, di ba? And there are actually 3 different kinds of exam takers. We have here, oh, I know this. Ito yung mga estudyante na magagaling talaga na um, alam talaga nila yung sagot. In short, mga genius or matatalino talaga sila. And then the other one, I must remember something. Yung tipong, ay, wait lang. Nasa dulo na ng dila ko ano yung tamang sagot for this. They know the answer. However, parang tipong nakakalimutan nila or is there something na hindi nila mabikas-bikas. And then the other one, what? Ito yung mga estudyante na hindi talaga nila alam kung ano yung sagot. Kaya 'di ba yung tipong number 1 pa lang ng sasagutan na sa exam di mo na alam. How will it affect you, 'di ba? Paano siya nakakaapekto sa emotions, sa mind ng bata, 'di ba? Kaya maganda yung easy muna para ayun, parang relax lang yung estudyante. Hindi natin dapat sila ano yun, mabigat agad kasi nawawalan sa focus instead na yung test na ginawa mo is to measure kung may natutunan sila, it could be a distraction for them na mental block sila, di ba? So we have to be very careful. Kaya as much as possible, let's arrange it in order of difficulty para mas maganda yung magiging epekto ng exam or yung result. Kasi we as a teachers, and you, when you become a teacher, ang pinakamasayang part talaga ng pagiging teacher is kung nagbibigay ka ng exam, tapos most of the students ay nakapasa. Exams are actually used to measures or mga test measures kung may tutunan yung estudyante, diba? What are you going to do if kung ang mindset mo as a teacher is you're creating an examination para lang maging pahirap sa bata or alam mo yun, huwag tayo maging feeling proud na pag gumawa tayo ng exam, tas walang nasagot yung mga estudyante. Kasi no matter how good your exam is, kung hindi naman talaga niya nasa-satisfy or hindi naman niya nagagawa yung pinaka-purpose niya, which is to test or to know if the students learn, it's still useless, diba? And then the second one, guys, na feature na dapat nating tandaan sa paggawa ng teacher-made tests. These are prepared by the teachers which can be used for prognosis and diagnosis purposes. So, magkaiba yung dalawang yan. Pag prognosis kasi, we are trying to, alam mo yan, we are trying to see kung ano ba talaga yung pinaka-result in the future or in the next one. Sometimes, diba, lalo na pag mahirap talaga yung subject, it's a good thing na ang teacher ay gumagawa ng teacher-made test, prognosis, kung i-check talaga kung mga estudyante ba nakakasunod or hindi. Sasabi ko nga, diba, always sa assessment of learning o sa mga past discussions talaga na we don't have to move to, diba, ABC, tapos di pa pala na-master yung mga lessons na yun, tapos nag-go na tayo sa D, E, F, G, diba? Parang, mahirap yon pag wala tayong prognosis if makakasunod ba sila or yung tipong maintindihan na yun yung next na part ng discussions. If they still don't have that mastery na need nating makita dun sa mga next na subject or yung sa mga topic na dinidiscuss natin. Lalo na sa K-12 curriculum, diba? It's a spiral curriculum. So, it's always start with the basic ones, madali, hanggang sa pahirap na siya ng pahirap. So, the same thing as the exam, diba? Dapat ganun din tayo. The next one na feature is the test covers the whole content area and includes a large number of items. I would really love to focus on this or talk more about this, guys, na I had this teacher before. Or siguro kayo din, you have this teacher before na yung tipong dami-dami mong pinag-aralan, memorize mo, alam mo yung pinandaan mo na yung pinakamahalagang bagay talaga sa discussion. Tapos pagdating sa exam, kung ano pa yung hindi masyadong mahalaga or hindi naman masyadong na-discuss or let's just say, tipong dun sa last part, yun pa yung pinakamadaming na lumabas sa exam, di ba? It's something na stressful sa estudyante. Yung, I know that feeling. Kasi pag, di ba, you really made an effort na para tumaas yung exam mo or to perfect or ace the examination. Pero, pagdating naman sa exam, di mo na alam kung saan kinuha yung mga tanong or kung paano, kung nag-aral ka ba talaga or hindi. So, ayun yun. So, pag ikaw yung mag-create ng test, make sure na yung whole content yung masasama mo or yung mga pinaka-importante talaga na mga topics ang ifo-focus mo. The next one is the preparation of the items conforms to the blueprint. Kaya pag gumagawa ng exam talaga, unang ginagawa is ang table of specification. Kailangan talaga yun kasi yun yung serve as your guide or your blueprint na kailangan mong makita doon sa gagawing mong test. So, di ba, mahalaga naman talaga na meron tayong plan para mas effective yung gagawin nating test. Later on, we'll still talk about it naman sa susunod na discussion natin about the principles of high-quality education. And then, the next one is the task construction is not a single man's business. Rather, it is a cooperative endeavor. Nowadays, di ba kung mapapansin niyo sa DepEd, it might cause pressure to you kasi pag part ka na ng DepEd talaga, di ba? You are, as a teacher, you have the task talaga to create your own module or gagawa ng test. However, let us all remember na hindi lang tayo ang gumagawa nun. It's a business, it's a cooperative endeavor. You have your department chair, sobrang dami mong pwedeng hinga ng tulong, even your mga master teachers nyo. It's a cooperative endeavor kasi pag gumagawa ka talaga ng exam as a teacher, kailangan talaga siyang nati-check ng department head, tapos bago yung academic coordinator. So, marami yung process. Kaya, as much as possible talaga, pag nag-exam or pag ang administrator nyo ay nagbibigay ng deadline or within this day, kailangan mapasa yung examinations kasi kailangan i-check ng mga department head or na academic coordinator. And it's not actually to pahirap sa mga teacher. It's something that will help them to make sure na tama yung binibigyan na exam or alam mo yon, wala kang kasi ngayon 'di ba sa DepEd sobrang daming problema na nangyayari kasi because of pandemic, hindi naman talaga sobrang prepared for this new normal of teaching and learning sa online. Kaya, nahihirapan talaga. But still, you have this opportunity na alamin talaga kung ano yung mga features. I hope na gawin din natin to in the future. Even me, teaching this to you will serve as a review then. Kasi I'm not that perfect teacher din naman. I also have my flaws na kailangan din talaga i-correct, even myself. And then next one is a teacher-made test does not cover all the steps of a standardized test. Of course, pag standardized test, costly talaga siya, magastos, tapos it takes so much time para i-check talaga yung test na ginagawa. But standardized test ay may mahalaga din siya na pwedeng epekto pag ginamit natin siya. Now, let's deeply kung ano ba talaga yung kaibahan ng dalawang to. We have the standardized test. Kung sinasabi natin standardized test, these are not simple in construction where the content, interpretation all get fixed or standardized for a particular age group, students of the same grade at different times and at different places. Ganyan talaga pag standardized test. There are lots of things that you need to consider from the places itself, from the age of the students that will take the exam or kung anong time man yan. And this is valuable to the teacher too kasi syempre pag standardized test, it's already tested and validated and then there come, alam mo yan, they were used for research na already. And then most of the people or teacher or other teachers were able to use it successfully. Then, universal applicability is there and are prepared by experts and cater to all people's requirement. Yon ang kagandahan ng standardized test. It's prepared by the experts. Kasi, ayun, pag experts nga naman, di ba, sobrang taas ng expectation talaga. Ibig sabihin, maganda talaga yung test na nagawa. And then, it caters to all people's requirements. Yung mas malawak siya na pwedeng ibigay sa mga estudyante mo or sa mga tao na gusto mong malaman if they learn something. And it is useful to a variety of situations of system. Of course, anytime, diba, situation, pwede siya. Hindi lang yung pag teacher-made test kasi, diba, if you as a teacher, you're only focusing on this subject sa pagbibigay ng exam dito sa topic na to. Kasi yun yung diniscuss mo. Hindi ka naman pwedeng magbigay ng exam na hindi mo binigay sa estudyante. Example na standardized test, yung mga national achievement test, diba? Ibig sabihin nun, it's more on national talaga. Halos lahat ng bata ay natitest yung intelligence doon. Which is, kung ikaw, teacher-made test, it's for your own purpose only as a teacher within the classroom. But later on, let's check kasi pwede din siyang gamitin yung teacher-made test and turn it into standardized test. Pero mahaba din siya na process. And it is useful to a variety of situation system and it is less relevant for a particular situation. Kasi hindi naman talaga araw-araw nagagamit ang standardized test, diba? Which is different from teacher-made test kasi anytime pwede mo siyang gamitin, diba? Pwede ka makakagawa niyan. And then we have the teacher-made test. Basically, teacher-made tests are used to evaluate the progress of students in school. However, the specific use of tests may vary from school to school and teacher or teacher. Kaya, ito din yung minsan ang pangit talaga. Pag halimbawa, pag sa mga standardized tests, pag nagbibigay ng national achievement test, estudyante. Tapos, sa teacher, sobrang taas ng mga grade ng mga bata, pero lagapak dun sa pagdating sa National Achievement Test. Kaya, ito yung sinasabi na yung mga ginagawa ng teacher na test talaga, hindi ibig sabihin nun na it really measured the intelligence of a child. Kasi nagkakaiba-iba yun eh. And then the test results can be used for students, teachers, and for other administrative purposes. Siyempre, pagbibigay nga naman ng grades, diba? Yung result talaga ng teacher-made test ang ating ginagamit. And these tests are very simple to use. Of course, wala ka nang kailangang rules to administer or interpretation sa mga score unlike dun sa standardized test. And teachers can assess the strength and weaknesses of the students. So, makikita mo dun. For example, guys, sa pagbibigay ko ng examination sa inyo, it really needs na hindi mo lang kukunin yung score ng mga bata. You have to analyze yung way of learning ng estudyante mo rin. Most of the time, there are students that really good in memorizing. Lagi silang mataas sa multiple choice or identification. However, there are still students na mahina sila sa pag-memorize. Me. Ako talaga ganun. I'm really that's my Waterloo. Hirap din ako mag-memorize ng sobrang daming bagay. Not even others number, ay hirap nga ako, diba? So, for those students, magaling sila dun sa way ng learning na yon, and I do really appreciate them kasi ang bilis nila. And I hope naman, pag sa inyo, if you are really good in memorizing that facts or details, make sure na matatandaan natin siya hanggang sa maging teacher na tayo, hindi lang sa after ng board examination. Dapat we learn to live with it kasi pag we take it by heart, yung learning talaga, lalo na sa mga subject na to sa professional education, kasi para mas ma-practice natin siya when we become a teacher. Dito sa the strength and weaknesses of students. Meron din mga estudyante na sobrang galing sa essay, sobrang lalim ng comprehension, Tapos yung understanding din nila, ang gagaling. And it doesn't mean na kung bata ay ganito, magaling sa memorization, hindi na siya marunong whatsoever. There are really lots of factors na pwedeng nangyayari doon. And then we have the another one feature is teacher-made tests may also be employed as a tool for formative evaluation. So, alamin natin kung nakakapasa yung mga estudyante natin sa mga binibigay nating tests. And preparation, administration of these tests are economical, and the test is developed by the teacher to ascertain the student achievement and proficiency in a given subject. Siyempre, di ba, pag test talaga, di mo pwedeng pagsama-sama mo yung sa questionnaire mo, tuturo ka ng English, tapos may science or math doon, whatever. Exact lang kung kasama talaga siya sa focus ng subject mo. So, let's focus kasi malalaman natin kung saan proficient estudyante natin sa subject. And then, teacher-made tests are least used for research purposes, of course. We all know naman ang ginagamit talaga sa research purposes are the standardized tests. Kasi, yun, proven and tested na yan, or validated na. And they do not have norms, whereas providing norms is quite essential for standardized tests. And now, let's talk about the steps or principles of construction of teacher-made tests. Pag sinabi nating principles, diba, masyadong mabigat talaga yan. Kasi it talks about objectives, the statement, the vision, yung mga rule, alam mo yun, kung ano yung nakikita mo, yung paniniwala mo or paninindigan mo. So, even sa paggawa ng teacher-made test, ay dapat meron din tayo neto as a teacher. A teacher-made test does not require a well-planned preparation. Even then, to make it more efficient, an effective tool of evaluation, careful considerations are needed to be given while constructing such tests. Hindi naman talaga sobrang well-planned preparation, di ba? Kasi hindi naman siya standardized. However, we still need to plan for it para makikita natin yung result ng goal na gusto nating mangyari sa test na yon. The following steps, first, of course, planning. I remember this one sa ang daw pinakaunang steps na gagawin mo once you create a test. Dun sa left, una talaga laging may planning, tapos ito, sa planning, dapat laging objectives yung una mong nasa isip once you plan for something, be it sa lesson plan, sa pag-create ng curriculum, kahit saan pa yan in terms of education, guys. We always start with objectives kasi yun yung mag-serve as our North Star or serve as a guide for us. And then, deciding the length of the test and portion of the syllabus to be covered. Ayan, dapat alam natin kung gaano kahaba yung pwede nating ibigay na examination sa mga estudyante pag nagpa-plan. Kaya di ba pag dito sa objectives, we create first yung table of specification kasi na-identify doon kung ano yung objectives or ano yung pinaka-topic and how many hours mo yung tinuro yung subject na yon. So, for that type of planning, you'll be able to know kung saan ka gustong mag-cover doon sa syllabus mo. Now, let's move on to the next principle. Deciding the number in forms of items or questions according to blueprint. Having a clear knowledge and understanding of the principles of constructing essay type, short answer type, and objective type questions. We should really have a clear knowledge kung bakit natin binibigay yung type of test na yan. Hindi ibig sabihin na sa lahat ng exam na binibigay, kailangan may multiple choice or kailangan may essay. Depende yun sa teacher kung ano ba talaga yung gusto niyang mangyari na doon sa examination na ginagawa niya. And we have decided the date of testing much in advance in order to give time to teachers for test preparation and administration. Kaya bago yung mag-start yung school year, di ba? You were provided the yung calendar of activities para aware kayo kung kailan talaga yung mga examinations. Di na kailangan palaging re-remind. You can see to it or minsan ina-announce din naman din yan sa pag nasa school na kayo or maging teachers na kayo. Dapat visible talaga yung calendar of activities sa buong school year para aware or makikita ng mga estudyante mo. And then, it's for the preparation, di lang naman para sa inyo yon as students, but even for the teachers, na i-remind sila na need na talaga namin na gumawa ng exam or kung kailan namin ipapasa yung or ipapa-check yung mga ginawa naming task. And seeking the cooperation and suggestion of co-teachers, experienced teachers of other schools, and experts. Of course, sasabi lang kanina, it's a cooperative type of na work. Kailangan natin humingi ng tulong from the others. Kaya nga, di ba, nagka-problema yung sa DepEd, and then the reason talaga ni Briones or ng DepEd Secretary is merong kakulangan din talaga. Kaya ang solution nila for it is to get more proof readers para ma-check talaga totally yung exam. And it's not just for proof readers, but for the experts of creating examinations din. Kasi di lang naman pag-proofread yan eh. You have to check din kung tama yung nasa content or test items na binibigay ng isang teacher or dun sa mga module. And then, we have the second part na principle is about the preparation of the test. Planning is the philosophical aspect, and preparation is the practical aspect. Kasi nga, planning, it's more on the mind philosophy. Pero pag practical, that's more on test construction because you are already in that field or you're doing the walking the talk already. And all the practical aspects to be taken into consideration while one constructs the test. And it is always an art, a technique. One is to have it or to acquire it. It requires much thinking, rethinking, and reading before constructing the test items. At ganun sa talaga ka big deal ang planning once you become a teacher. It's always start in planning. Kaya it's really an art or a technique na kailangan din nating ma-master. And we have to remember na if plan A didn't work, don't worry, the alphabet has 25 more letters. So, pwede ka bang gumawa ng plan A, B, C, D, sobrang dami, 25 letters. But of course, sa realidad naman siguro, hindi naman ganun ka, diba, naaabot sa sobrang daming plan. Minsan, sa plan A, sa plan B, diba? Siguro maximum na yung plan C. And, mahalaga talaga pag merong planning in terms of preparing a test. Kasi, unless you have a definite, precise, clearly set goals, you are not going to realize yung maximum potentials that lies within you. That's according to Zig Ziglar. Minsan yung I do appreciate yung makilala ko talaga na best teachers. Ang pinaka-secret talaga nila is yung planning to make their teaching effective. Tapos sila din as a teacher. According to Zig Ziglar, it's not just for you as a teacher, but of course for your students. Kasi pag well-planned mong ginawa yung test na yon, nakikita mo yung maximum potential ng mga estudyante mo during the examinations. And let us all remember that direction is an important part of a test construction. Dapat meron tayong direksyon or alam natin kung saan patutunguhan, kung ano ang patutunguhan ng ating binibigay na exam. Without giving a proper direction or instruction, there will be a probability of losing the authenticity of the test reliability. It may create a misunderstanding in the students also. Dito, minsan, halos yung mga estudyante na bumabagsak sa exam, ang reason lang talaga is not for them na wala silang natutunan, but it's because of the direction. Hindi nila naintindihan or hindi nila na-comprehend ng maayos. Sometimes na mas maganda talaga if you're creating a test, the easier the direction, the better. Huwag natin yung pahirapan yung mga estudyante natin or niluluto natin sila. Kasi in the end, it's not about alisin natin yung mindset na, kung master naman ng bata, di ba, dapat hindi siya nalilito. Huwag po natin gawin if ang examination mo is true or false. Tapos, ang sa identification or sa gustong sagot na sa sagot na gusto mong mangyari is dapat pag true yung statement, ang isulat sa ang isasagot ay false. Tapos pag mali, true. 'Di ba? It just cause nawawala yung estudyante, nagkakaroon ng misunderstanding. Instead of measuring kung ano yung intelligence nila, pinahirapan mo lang sila at madidismaya ka lang din sa result if ever mali-mali yung sagot nila, 'di ba? So let's all make sure na yung direction ay madali lang. Kasi pag sobrang haba, hindi na alam nung estudyante kung ano na yung gagawin nila. And next is, thus the direction should be simple and adequate to enable the students to know. Here are the things na dapat nilang malaman. The time for completion of tests. Na-announce naman talaga yan before and after, before the examination. How many hours na kailangan nilang i-take yung exam. Then the marks allotted to each item. Kung lagi nating lalagyan talaga kung ilang points. Lalo na dun sa essay part or even dun sa, kahit sa multiple choice lang, 'di ba? Huwag nating hayaan na tsaka ka lang magsabi kung ilang points mawindang yung mga estudyante. Yung sa multiple choice mo pala is 2 points or 3 points. Dapat kasama siya dun sa pag nagagawa ka ng test. Para aware sila. At even dun sa essay, di ba? Para alam nila kung gaano kahaba yung isasagot nila or kailangan nilang ma-justify yung hinihingi ng teacher. Then, required number of items to be attempted. Minsan kasi, lalo na pag online, the teacher have the choice na kung pwedeng i-take ng estudyante ng exam, i-take ng estudyante ng isang exam for a couple of times hanggat sa ma-perfect niya or maintindihan niya yung nasa test questionnaires. But most of the time, it's one take only, lalo na pag sa mga major examinations. Then how and where to record the answer. And lastly, the materials like graph papers or logarithmic table to be used. That's more on sa math naman. And here are the uses of teacher-made tests. Bakit kailangan natin siyang i-consider once we become a teacher? The first thing is it helps a teacher to know whether the class is normal, average, above average, or below average. So, iba't iba naman talagang approaches na pwede natin gamitin sa assessment sa test na gagamitin natin. It could be assessment as learning, for learning, or of learning. So, sa atin na yan if ibibigay natin siya before, during, or after the discussion. Kasi dapat nakikita daw natin na yung learning ba ng bata ay nasa gantong level na ba, above average or below average. Kasi pag below average, you have to ulitin mo naman yung topic mo or discuss it again for your students. And next one is to help him or her in formulating new strategies for teaching and learning. Yun naman talaga ang dahilan ba't tayo nagbibigay ng test, diba? Para alam natin kung tama ba yung ginagawang strategies natin or effective. Kasi pag mababa yung score ng mga estudyante, it's time for us to change or kailangan nating mag-improve or to be innovative enough to make sure na natututo yung mga estudyante. I had this experience before. Diba sobrang hirap na magturo ng grammar lesson sa mga elementary students, lalo na pag grade 1. Litong-lito sila pag sa yung sa singular verb. For a couple of times, always taught them kung ano ba talaga yung rule. However, pagdating na sa exams or sa mga quizzes, mabababa sila. Hindi ko alam kung paano ituro. And we as teachers, we really need to think for something new. Kaya laging may plan A, B, C. Ang nangyari, ang ginawa ko, they were able to understand it much. Halos na perfect na nga nila yung quiz na pag marami, bawa si Anna and Dave walks, 'di ba? Sinasabi ko sa kanila, pag dalawa sila or more than one or marami, ibig sabihin marami silang friends. So, yung kasunod, dapat walang S. You're also teaching them ng values then or minsan, nasa inyo na yan. So, kung ano yung, paano mo ituro sa mga bata. And in that way, I was so surprised na learning na ganun lang pala na minsan yung mga bata, pag tinuturuan mo sila, it's not about the rule, lalo na pag grammar, mag-stick ka doon. You have to make it something na makukuha yung attention nila. Ay, ganun pala yun. Yung tipong may mga technique kang ginagamit para ma-appreciate nila yon at mas maalala nila. Kasi pagsiksikan mo sa kanila, dapat ganito lagi, ganyan, ganyan. Mahirapan yan sila sa pag-intindi. Have to let them live. You're somewhat like being part of the topic na sila mismo ma-identify nila sa sarili nila. Hindi lang sa pag-memorize ng mga rule. And of course, pag kayo naging future teachers naman, I believe that you have lots of techniques or strategies na mas maganda pa sa mga teachers na kung ano may mga strategy or technique na ginagamit ng mga teacher nowadays. Since you are part of the 21st century learners. And, ayun. Teacher-made tests also may be used as a full-fledged achievement test which covers the entire course of a subject. Kaya, kabuuan talaga ang dapat na binibigay natin sa exams or sa mga tests for our students. And to measure the student's academic achievement in a given course, we all know naman, diba? Kaya mahalaga talaga yung grades para makita yung achievement ng mga estudyante. But let us be careful then, guys, na huwag tayong masyadong mag-focus dun sa grades. And speaking of achievement of our students, we avoid natin yung pag-stereotype or stigmatize na mga estudyante na kung mababa ang grades ngayon, ibig sabihin hindi maging successful na estudyante whatsoever. There are lots of research na actually ginawa dyan kung ang bata ba ay mataas yung academic performance, ay magiging successful sila in the near future. But most of the time, or may mga, it's not always like that. There are percentages din na malalaki doon sa mga, hindi sila masyadong hindi masyadong successful yung academic performance na before, but in terms of doing the job, nung graduate na sila, mas nagiging successful sila. Of course, our students have their own potentials naman. We don't know yet kung nasa college pa sila, diba? Or nasa high school. Next, to assess how far specified instructional objectives have been achieved. Kasi pag sobrang dami nga namang objectives na meron tayo sa isang lesson plan, for us to make sure that we reach it or nami-meet na natin yung mga objectives or goal na yon, we could have it through tests for our students. And the next, to know the efficacy of learning experiences. If it's, kung maganda ba yung effect ng learning experiences nila, sometimes hindi naman talaga natin nakikita lang yon. We have to make sure na meron tayong data for it. So, the best talaga is to have a test or it could be just answer questions or marami tayong pwedeng gawin later on. Ibibigay ko yan sa mga next discussions para ma-check if there's an efficacy dun sa learning experiences ng mga estudyante mo. Next, to diagnose students' learning difficulties and to suggest necessary remedial measures. Kasi pag diagnose, diba, in terms of the test, we could learn a lot from our students. If they have something or may problema sila or may difficulties, matutulungan natin sila ng mas maaga. Kasi mas maaga nga, the better yun. Kaysa yung papahabain mo pa yung oras, tapos ipipilit mo yung mga bagay na intindihin ng mga estudyante mo or dun sa mga may problema estudyante, diba? We have to provide support to them. And then to certify, classify, or grade the students on the basis of resulting scores. Yun naman talaga. Kaya we have to identify din na hindi lahat ng test na binibigay natin ay kailangang recorded. Those exams that we use as assessment for learning para sa learning ng mga estudyante. Most of the time, hindi talaga yun recorded kasi yun yung mga test or mga activities that we help for the students na we are supporting them para matuto sila. Pero most of them dun sa mga summative test talaga, assessment of learning, yun yung mga recorded na part. And then, sa skillfully prepared teacher-made test can serve the purpose of standardized test. Kung namimit talaga niya yung purpose, we can make it into a standardized test. But, however, it's very costly. Kailangan natin ng ma-validate doon on how to administer the test, kung ano may yung interpretations. Sobrang dami na dapat nating gawin. And teacher-made tests can help a teacher to render guidance and counseling. Paano ba siya nakakapag-render ng guidance and counseling? By just giving a teacher-made test. Of course, kasi pag teacher-made test, diba, malalaman mo doon kung ang estudyante, for example, alam mo naman na marunong talaga yung bata, magaling. And then, there's a time na nung magbigay ka na ng exam, wala siyang naisagot, or alam mo, iba yung mga sinasagot niya. If that will happen, ang best talaga na gagawin natin is to talk with our student. Alamin natin kung anong nangyari, or we could ask if there's a problem. Diba? So, dyan na mag-start na magkakaroon ng guidance and counseling. In asking question, what happened? You know what? I know that you can answer this question so well. Kasi alam naman ng teacher, di ba, kung anong level ng knowledge na meron yung bata at or level of intelligence. So, in that way, it will serve as something na mag-open up yung estudyante mo. Kasi kailangan natin yung teacher, di ba? We have to care for our students. And kaya dapat mindful tayo or be observant enough about the activities ng mga estudyante natin. Hindi lang sa examinations, but on what we observe in them inside the classroom. Kaya malaki talaga din natulong yung teacher-made test na yan. And a good teacher-made test can be exchanged among neighboring schools. Yan, pag maganda talaga yung test mo, you can exchange it with other schools. Kasi pag effective naman, di ba? Why not share it with others? Lalo na pag magiging standardized na siya. And then, these tests can be used as a tool for formative, diagnostic, and summative evaluation. So, nandito na naman yung assessment of learning, tapos assessment for learning to assess pupils' growth in different areas. Maraming areas talaga na dapat na may measure yung mga test na binibigay natin sa mga estudyante natin. Not just merely memorizing, but let's use, yun nga kay Bloom's taxonomy, yung level of, kahit sa cognitive, diba, meron silang level of understanding or may iba't ibang level siya to make sure na na-focus or nade-develop yung higher order thinking skills ng ating mga estudyante. Kasi yun talaga ang pinakamagandang dinidevelop sa not just knowledge or merely memorizing yung mga details or facts na dinidiscuss nila. Okay, thank you so much guys. That's all for teacher-made test. And you could also check these references